Hey guys, when this video is going out, it'll be my birthday. I'll be turning 30. And I thought this would be a good time to share a little bit of, as our boy Ty Lopez likes to say, knowledge. I hate that guy so bad. What today's video is about is just reflecting about if I could give 5 pieces of advice to you or to a younger version of myself, what they would be and why. And I think it's kind of important, and I try to stay mainly on software when we have our videos, and I think you can apply a lot of this to software, but a lot of this is just good stuff that actually, if you implement, you'll be very successful in life, in my opinion. If you're watching this video, you're probably looking to better yourself in one way or another. So there's a nice bundle called Win at Work right now where you can get a lot of different ebooks based off a lot of the same topics we're going to be discussing: how to hustle away your debt, survival guide in your 20s, managing for people who hate, having bad bosses, getting the guts to do the things that you want, and a bunch of other ones. You'll see a few that are on here, but for $15 and getting like 20 books, even if you just get 2 or 3 books that are of value, I think you'll learn a lot in the process. So I just wanted to do a shout out to that. And if you're interested in it, there'll be a link in the description that you can purchase this at. And it's for a limited time for about 2 weeks, probably about a week when this video goes out. And as always, you'll have the option of deciding if you want to give me all your money or if you want to give Humble Bundle or a charity all your money so that you can help some people out in the process. So I want to start this video off by saying that regardless of age, you can give good advice, you can give bad advice. You know, if you're 40, doesn't mean that you can, which 10 years older than I'll be, doesn't mean that you can't get good advice from a 30-year-old. And if you're 30, it doesn't mean that you can't get good advice from a 20-year-old. I know in my life, as much as I love and respect my mother and father, that with the rapid change in the world, they just don't understand it, and they have actually given me horrible advice, and it's caused me issues. And as their son, it took a very long time for me to say, like, to realize that they actually knew worse and I knew better, which sometimes is just how the adult decision you have to make sometimes. But yeah, so I just want to say that because I think a lot of times there could even be wisdom in like a 5-year-old, or they like say something because they see the world in a whole different place. But it's up to you to sort of think about what that advice is and really, don't take it at what it's worth. Listen to it, analyze it, and go from there. So just because it's coming from someone who's older, someone who's younger, doesn't mean it's good or bad advice. So, excuse me. So the things that I wish I knew 10 years ago or 20 years ago, or as a young man, was first, be willing to take risks and blaze your own path. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we're ingrained to all risk is bad, right? All risk is bad, and so it's like, take the safe route. Hammer, safe route. Everything else, you're going to be a crackhead on the streets. And these are the only paths to success, these 2, and all 98 other ones will make you a crackhead on the street, and you'll be homeless, you'll be miserable, and doing things that you never thought you'd do for money. And so what I'm trying to say is that a lot of times the world is painted to be this black and white thing where this works, this doesn't work, or that this will give you 2% return and is very safe, so this is a good choice, but this will give you 100% return, but maybe is twice as likely to fail. And a lot of times people won't even take that and make educated risks, and it's kind of sad. And something that I ever since I started taking educated risks on things, whether it be investing, whether it be education, whether it be YouTube, where I'm investing my time, money, energy, it has worked out very successfully for me because I found something that I enjoy more than forcing myself into the quote-unquote way that things should be done, and the way that you should be successful in life, and the paths that are already set up. And so I would say to you that, and there's nothing wrong if you go down a more traditional path of investment, life, whatever it is, but I do want to make the first point known that there are many paths to life. There's not just one or two, and things aren't black and white. The world is, shades of gray, and that goes for your life as well. And so if there's something that you find that you're not enjoying, find a way to make it better, or find something that works better for you. So that'd be my first advice, is blazing your own paths and be willing to take educated risks. And I kind of put that in the same category because I think they are somewhat related at times. So the second thing I would say is learn about investing and learn about saving money. This is something that is unfortunately not talked about very much. My father is, by most people's standards, wealthy, and he never really sat down and even talked to us about it. So it doesn't matter if you come from a background with money or if you come from a background without money. It's one of those things where it's kind of almost a taboo subject to talk about, right? So like, I have no problem talking about my finances, talking about how I invest my money, my salary. Now, I don't necessarily talk about my salary, not because I have an issue with it. I actually would have no problem. It's that most workplaces don't appreciate that. Why? I don't really know, but hey, that's choices. So as an employee, I make sure not to talk about that. But like every year for my channel anniversary, I go over my YouTube analytics, talk to you about how much money I make on the YouTube channel. And the reason for it is I want people to get a better understanding of investing and get a better understanding. And this is something I'm learning every day, by the way. Not like I'm an investment king and I'm making buku bucks. I'm not. But I want to say, learn about saving. First, save money. Second, with the money you're saving, invest money. And a lot of you right now are probably saying, well, Dylan, I don't have any money to invest with, right? I would say that you could probably get 5% of your check, one at every $20 you make, and learn to invest. You're like, oh, well, what, Dylan, that's $100 a month. What am I going to do with that? Or that's, $50 a month. And my advice to you is, if you're motivated and driven, I'm guessing it's not always going to be 5% of your check. Eventually, you're going to make more money. And the best time to learn how to invest is when you don't have any money, right? So, because you can only lose that $20 or $100 or $50, whatever it is. So, take the time right now while you're down and out. Or if you're not down and out, start educating yourself about how you can make $1 be $2. And continue this growth, because that's really the only way most people are going to stop living paycheck to paycheck or be able to be financially independent. And if you start early, it's exponential growth with investments. And I would highly encourage you to educate yourself about how you can invest your money and figure out a way to save your money. And a lot of us are all about, how can we cut back our cost, right? How can we lower so we have more money? There's a limited returns, right? You used to have $1,000 in bills. At absolute most, you can cut back $1,000, and realistically, you can probably cut back about $100 of your bills, because most of us are already living lifestyles that we're not living luxurious lifestyles for the most part. And the reason I bring that up when it comes to investing is a lot of people look at the world incorrectly of how can I lower my expenses, which is good. You should do that. But there's limited returns. While the return of you increasing your income through investing, through work and things like that, there really is no cap to that. And so that should be one of your priorities as of today. If you're not investing, you really should start getting it together. So number 3 is always have a side project and hustle. And this is something that I is not only for a professional aspect. I've talked about having a side project and a hustle, but it also will help you in many other avenues of your life, right? So one, if you don't have any money to invest, that hustle, most side projects and hustle, if handled properly, we live in the days where you can put something on the internet and make money. It's really kind of crazy, right? And you'll learn in the process. You'll work on your career. You'll become you'll be putting yourself on. You'll be working on something that will make you a better person a lot of times, because now you're sort of getting passionate about something, and that's something a lot of people lose in their life, is they lose the passion of what they, what they loved their job for, or what they loved in their life, and what they live for. And sometimes these side projects and hustles, they can kind of remind you of that. I know it has for me with like YouTube. I really love this stuff and being able to do what I do with it. And I just couldn't recommend. I wish I would tell myself, and it doesn't have to be the same side project for, from the day one to the day you die. It can be, and that'd be a beautiful side project, right? But at the very least, start a side project for personal development, and do something with it, and always have one. And if it dies, I'm sure you have a million other ideas that you've thought of as time has passed, where you're like, oh, I wish I did this. Stop wishing about doing these things and actually do them. So that's number 3, is have a side project, and always have a side project, right? Number 4, and I put on here, don't watch TV/play games. And what I mean by that is have better time management. I actually watch TV and I play games, but not to the degree that I used to, right? So I watch about 2 hours of television a week. And maybe every week I have about 2 hours. It's about 3 or 4 anime shows that I watch, and then there is the occasional movie I watch with the girlfriend on movie night. So in total for the week, I watch about 4 hours of TV. And so maybe in a bad week, 6 hours, but I really have trouble sitting down that long. So don't think I'm like a Puritan where it's like, no TV, no video games, oh my god. No, but I will say that as a child and a young adult living with my mother, and I picked up many bad habits, such as eating fast food for 3 meals a day, and watching 10-12 hours of television and stuff like that. And if that's what makes you happy, I understand. But a lot of times, many people are unhappy and they're just zoning out through video games and television, and they're never, whatever it is about their life that they don't like, they don't actually get around to ever working hard to make it better. They instead just sort of treat their unhappiness by filling their moments with video games and TV. And I'm guilty of this as well, which is why I have this on here. I used to play 10-12 hours a day of video games while still working and going to school, and I was miserable all the time. And it was just sort of a way for me to escape. And a lot of it, the only real way to escape long term is to actually change your situation. And so just be wary of your time management is what I'm trying to say, because a lot of us waste a lot of time. Like, if you start thinking about how your day is going to be and what you're going to do and how it's going to help you in the future, start thinking about how you can be productive to accomplish your goals, not other people's goals, but your goals. Where you're saying a lot of people have trouble finding motivation. When you start thinking about how your time, if I spend 8 hours playing Final Fantasy, I'm not saying don't play Final Fantasy. If I spend all day at 8 hours playing Final Fantasy, how does that help me tomorrow to accomplish what I want to accomplish? And if it doesn't, am I going to be okay with that long term? And a lot of people aren't, but they'll still do it anyhow. So just be aware of your time, how you're managing it, and move forward. And these are all, and by the way, guys, if you think I'm attacking you or anything like that, I am not. These are all things that I personally have done, and I am sharing with you what I know. So that's why I feel like maybe if I'm speaking a little direct, some of you may take offense, but it's because these are things that mistakes I have made. I'm aware of them. I'm aware how to overcome them, at least in my case. So that's number 4. The 5th and final thing is be okay with who you are, right? So as my cat destroys the cat post. Milo. Hey, buddy. Someone's trying to film a video over here. But be okay with who you are. And what I mean by that is a lot of us are, especially, and this varies for other people. I probably don't have it that bad, but I felt it's all about perception, right? And how you perceive people feel about you. I know that as a child, and as a young adult, I always felt like there was an issue with my hobbies. I always felt there's an issue with me, and that I had to kind of hide that, oh, well, I play Japanese RPGs, I watch animes, and these things are a little bit more accepted nowadays than they were before. And I know that, like, as a child trying to get my my siblings to play video games or try to get my dad to play video games with me. It's like my dad, I think, played video games with me from the age of like 6 to 7, and then after that kind of was done with it. And but you love what you love, and in a lot of people's cases, it could be something such as sexuality. It could be something such as what your background. There's a lot of things in life that if you wanted to be self-conscious about, and if you wanted to worry about and create problems for yourself, you can. And a lot of that just stems from you not being okay with who you are as a person, you not being okay and essentially loving yourself and saying, look, man, there's nothing wrong with me. I have no problem being a dork, being a geek, right? I'm over here with the like you could look at me right now and be like, this guy probably works with computers, and it's true, I do, right? And so like it's okay to look and be like, okay, and be like, all right, you can have some fun with it, but the point is there's no problem with who you are. I guess that was a bad example, but try to just love yourself a little bit more, because at the end of the day, that's probably who's gonna have to do it. And I'm not talking for all the pervy people who think I meant something different, but what I'm trying to say is that as an individual, a lot of times we are so self-conscious about who we are, and we don't ever just accept ourselves. And even if you're unhappy with where you're at in life, there's a difference between trying to do better and accepting where you're at, right? Like, I want to be much farther along in my financial career, my career, all this sort of stuff. And doesn't mean that I still don't like myself. So try to like yourself a little bit more. You're okay the way you are. It's really the message of that. And if you want to be a better person, that's great, but still just kind of appreciate where you're at. And because at the end of the day, only you can really love you. So that's my 5 things, guys. I hope you found something in there that maybe you can work on. And these are things that, these aren't daily fixes. These aren't, this isn't, you can start tomorrow and do all 5 of these things. But the real testament to these items is all 5 of these are lifelong changes. These are all things that you need to implement on a daily basis to really have effect, right? It's the big example I give to people about working hard. All of us can work hard, but for how long, right? The people that are successful in life are the ones who never stopped working hard. The people who aren't, who only were able to work hard for 6 weeks, right? So all these require hard work, because these are lifelong or decade-long changes. So I hope you take advantage of what little knowledge I have, and maybe at 40, if I still have a YouTube channel, I'll tell you what I learned in the next 10 years, and maybe I'll be like, damn, dude, I didn't know shit when I was 30. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share. Support me on Patreon. Join the Facebook group. I appreciate that. And for the youngins, for the oldins, drop some knowledge. In the description below, and tell us what your 5 things are that you wish you knew as a young man or woman. Bye, guys. Quick shout out to DevicePlus.com. If you're interested in the latest IoTs, hacks, do-it-yourself projects revolving around Arduino and Raspberry Pi, they have some great how-to guides. I highly encourage you to check them out, and thanks for watching.